Hey, good morning. It's Saturday, the 21st of September. Back at my mom's house, just having a look at some of these air layers. I've got a crabapple that I wanted to take the top off of and do something more interesting with the lower half. And out front, we've got a birch to look at to separate maybe if it's got any roots, and also and the California Lilac, which I haven't checked on the roots of either of those, so we'll see what we have in there. In terms of roots, you can see we've got quite a bit in there. Kind of looks like it's dried up a little bit, but I think it will be okay. Just take the wire off. It's very slightly damp, but it's somewhat dried up. I think it should be okay though. Still in frame. It's a good amount of roots.
Yeah.
And I'll just pop that up and see how it does. So the part that's left has a pretty interesting bend in it. Not quite sure what we'll do with that, but could be interesting. Okay, so I'm just gonna tie this to the pot, and I don't really care about the angle for now, and I'll put maybe some pumice with some regular soil. We'll see. I used this wire to hold it in place before. Is that still on camera? Of course not. And of course the idea is that we just don't want this moving around a lot. And it will be better once I put some soil in there. Okay, so that's the California Lilac.
Yes.
So I have not looked at the roots here to see.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately with those white bags, it's hard to see. Well, impossible. I like those transparent globes that somebody was using.
Well, and some people will say that the transparent, like letting light through, is not ideal for the roots. I don't actually know for sure if that's true or not.
Yeah.
But some people say you have to use something that's opaque.
Really?
Or that it might work better if it's opaque. I would say there is a root. I think.
I think that's a root.
Is it enough? I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot more on this side. Should I risk it?
Yep.
Yep.
Well, we have lots more, right? Like we can run this experiment over and over again if we need to.
Okay, giant pruning saw for these.
Are you going to do anything to, like, have you been filming this the whole time?
Yeah.
Oh, I should have been shutting it.
See the roots there.
I think it looks good.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna take a lot of the upper parts off, shrink this down quite a bit, and then we'll pot it up, and hopefully it survives. last thing we have is from these birch trees. And we'll see if we can, well, first of all, check and see if there's any roots in here. And if there are, then this will be removed and we'll pot it up and see if one day that can be a little more bonsai-like. I might need a ladder. There does not look like there's roots in this one.
Huh.
Okay. Well, I guess we leave it. It doesn't look like it's healed over at all.
No. But it also hasn't done anything.
It's like starting to callus a little bit there. But yeah, like if that had rejoined, then it will never grow roots. And then if the branch dies, then of course, that's that. But right now, like it's starting to get just these little bits of like little bumps along here, which I think is where the roots will form from.
Maybe it's just taking its own sweet time.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so just revisiting some of, these two of my mom's trees. This was a azalea. She was just asking me about the wiring on it, and it is starting to bite in a little bit. So we'll take a closer look at that in a second. This one had a bit of a thicker wire, so it's less of a problem, and it wasn't very tightly wound. But down here, we'll take a closer look and just check that. So I already unwound this. You can see just a little bit, biting in there. I could see it a little more down here, but especially in this area. It's definitely been biting in there. So we definitely want to get that off. Yeah, where this came around, it's not terrible, but you can see it there. But the spot that's particularly bad is this area here. Ooh, hard to get there. And so that's left like quite a deep scar. I don't know on azalea how well that heals. On a maple, that can be a real problem apparently over the years. But then it may not matter if this branch is not part of your final design. And again, I don't know as azaleas thicken up if they may cover those up. But that's definitely something to watch out for as the branch grows throughout the year. If there's anywhere where the wire is tight, then it can do that. Yeah, so I think we were trying to get this branch to come down more. And so something that you can do to avoid the scarring there is to use like a guy wire and try and pull this down, and then maybe tie it to the pot if you wanted to do something like, if you needed that branch to come straight out, for example.
Okay.
You can see some little bits of growth coming out there. So that's a new spot where you could have a branch coming out instead of up here if you wanted to try and condense it down.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'll look at some pictures online.
And then this one, I wanted to make sure that we're looking at this area, because that could potentially be an area where it scars. So maybe I'll unwind this here. I mean, we're kind of done with the growing season, but as soon as we're into spring next year, that could really start to scar along there. Oops, pulling leaves off, sorry. So you can see just a little bit of a line,
just a touch,
but it's not bad. So the other thing you can do rather than unwinding it like I'm doing is to just clip it off.
Yep.
And that, like, especially if you're in a delicate area where you're worried about breaking something, it's much better to snip it. Yeah, so rather than kind of risking breaking the branch as you're going along, you can just come in and at intervals you can just cut the wire. And actually, yeah, there's a bit of a scar there that I didn't notice. The downside, of course, is that you're not able to reuse the wire, but less chance of breaking a branch or breaking off some leaves or whatever else. So yeah, right here, I didn't see that initially. Yeah, so right there, it's just getting a little bit of a scar from the wire. It's not super deep, but over time that can get a lot worse. And so a little bit on the back as well. There's get a bit of a ridge there.
I see that.
So that's definitely something you have to watch out for as it's growing.
We'll recheck again in the spring.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you want to rewire it in the spring, you know what to do and what to look for. You can see where the cut paste was there, that it's healing in. And there's even a little bit of a new branch starting to poke out there.
Yeah. We have a woodpecker. Right there.
Oh. My zoom's not good enough. Okay, so this was that crabapple separated from this one. Repot this one in the spring. It's just in nursery soil right now, and it's not really been doing great. So try to separate out all of that dense soil in the spring. These guys are just temporarily in pumice and compost, which isn't probably super ideal, but it'll do for now. And if that survives, then we can use that for some bonsai in the future. And then the California Lilac, same thing with just some temporary soil. See if it roots. And I don't really have a style in mind for this yet. I don't know if you do.
I do not. I'm shocked that it worked.
And then, well, we'll see if it survives, and then think about what to do with it down the road.
I like the little twist in the other crabapple there.
This one here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting little spiral, and I didn't do that. I bought it like this, so I don't know why it did that. And maybe this will all be shorter later because it comes out of the spiral and then goes straight. So I don't know if that would be part of it. Maybe the branches could come out from here and be a smaller bonsai.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to watch what happens.
So I'm gonna head home, and I'll follow up on these on the next time I visit. Thanks for watching. These were all those cuttings from that last tree we were just looking at, right?
Yeah.
And then we took those around the same time we were wiring. It was just sand, I think, in there.
There's one good healthy azalea in there.
Nice.